What if everything you've been told about being valuable is a lie? And if, while you try to please, smile, and be present, does the world just watch how easily you can be discarded? In this video, you'll discover why kindness, without strategy, is the greatest factor of social invisibility of the present day. Let's destroy the lie of emotional meritocracy and reveal the real path to respect and power. The path of those who understand that it's not about being loved, but to become the collapse point. You are about to embark on a philosophical journey inspired by Machiavelli, where kindness without intelligence is a leash, and the true value lies in causing panic when you disappear. Watch until the end, because if you can bear this uncomfortable truth, you will never be just another one again. The Nice lie. Why being nice isn't enough. You grew up hearing that all it took was being good, kind, and hardworking, that the world would reward your pure heart and unconditional loyalty. But what if all of this is just a comfortable lie, created to keep you docile, predictable, and easily manipulated? The truth is that kindness, when not accompanied by strategy, is merely an adornment, a social mask that barely interferes with the real structure of power. The world doesn't function on gratitude but on utility and scarcity. While you try to appear likable, seeking approval with every gesture, the true architects of influence aren't concerned with being liked. They build structures where they're needed, and need is the only kind of respect that can't be negotiated. The idea that being a good person is enough to guarantee respect is social poison disguised as praise. It's the most subtle way to enslave well-intentioned minds. This programming starts early. Be polite, don't complain, always help, give in. Gradually, you're trained to associate effort with reward. But the real world operates on a different logic. It doesn't reward those who give more, but rather those who position themselves better. Effort is only respected when its absence causes a collapse. And to achieve this, being good isn't enough. You have to be indispensable, scarce, and strategically placed. So ask yourself, has your kindness generated power or invisibility? If everything you offer is always available, you become part of the furniture, useful but irrelevant. It's time to deconstruct this comfortable lie. Being good isn't the problem. The problem is believing that this alone will be your currency of value in the world. The game is different, and the players who win aren't those who smile the most, but those who master the rules. 2. Kindness without clause. The fastest path to irrelevance. Kindness without clause is an offering that the predator interprets as weakness. Society has shaped the image of the good citizen as someone passive, obedient, and always available. But what they don't tell you is that, in this model, you become just another replaceable part, a random cog in a machine that doesn't care who keeps it running. The lack of strategy transforms your kindness into an exploitable weakness. Being kind in itself isn't a virtue if that kindness makes you vulnerable. The modern world is thirsty for efficiency, power, and control. When you present yourself as someone incapable of saying no, you sign a silent contract of exploitation. People don't value you for what you consistently offer, but for what, if taken away, would leave an unbearable void. And kindness, when unfiltered, doesn't create gaps. It just spreads like water, invisible and forgotten. The worst consequence of this is becoming invisible. You're present at all times, always accessible, always smiling, but paradoxically, you become someone no one notices. This is the tragedy of limitless good, everywhere but never truly important. It's like air, essential, but taken for granted. And what is guaranteed is not valued. It is ignored until it's gone. Therefore, it's not about abandoning kindness, but about weaponizing it, transforming it into choice, not submission. Kindness must be selective, strategic, and powerful. The kind of kindness that commands respect before seeking approval. Because in the real world, being too kind without protection doesn't earn admiration, it earns oblivion. 3. Architects of power. They don't want love, they want dominion. While you worry about being loved, about maintaining a clean image, about not hurting anyone, the true architects of power are concerned with something much more effective: dominance. They know that love is volatile, conditional, fragile. Love can disappear with a crisis, a mistake, a simple change of interest. But dominance remains because it is rooted in structure, not emotion. These people aren't interested in approval, smiles, or applause. They build systems. They put themselves in positions where their presence is indispensable and their absence causes collapse. Being liked is optional. Being needed is power. This is the difference between dreamers and strategists, between the innocent and the decisive. While you offer your heart, they deliver social engineering. They're unmoved by good intentions. They respect utility, scarcity, and control. They build networks where they're at the center, invisible and secure. They don't worry about looking good. They worry about being in the right place when the gears break. And when they do, everyone looks to them for a solution. This is true mastery, not being the star of the party, but the only one who knows the safe's password. Therefore, the error lies in your quest for acceptance. The focus should be on becoming essential. People may love you today and forget you tomorrow. But if they depend on you to keep what they value functioning, then you've become an architect of power. And no one abandons an architect. No one throws away the instruction manual for their own success. 4. The approval fallacy. How validation keeps you weak. You've been conditioned to seek approval like a dog conditioned to expect affection. Your every decision, every gesture, every choice first passes through the filter of, will they like me? This seemingly harmless mechanism is actually the most efficient form of behavioral control society has ever created. Because someone who depends on external approval will never be free. They will always be an emotional hostage. Validation has become the silent drug of modern times. You work harder, strive harder, give in more, all in exchange for a thank you, a smile, a like, a pat on the back. And when it doesn't come, you feel rejected, a failure, unworthy. But the truth is, this system was designed for exactly this: to make you feel eternally indebted, always needing to prove your worth. The big secret is that approval is never enough. Even when it comes, it's short-lived. And to get more, you'll have to bend even more. It's a cycle of submission and exhaustion. Meanwhile, those who truly lead don't seek acceptance, they build influence. They understand that lasting respect comes not from validation, but from indispensability. So the question you need to ask yourself isn't, do they like me? But, can they survive without me? Because true power lies not in being loved, but in being irreplaceable. The world doesn't respect those who adapt to please, but rather those who shape the environment to their presence. 5. Machiavelli was right. Fear is more valuable than love. Niccolò Machiavelli, the thinker many prefer to demonize, was simply brutally honest. Love is beautiful, but fragile. Fear is ugly, but enduring. When you depend solely on people's love, you place your emotional security in the hands of human volatility. But when its absence generates a real fear of collapse, you transcend affection. You become indispensable. Love is an emotional contract, sustained by favorable circumstances. It breaks easily in the face of discomfort, disappointment, and self-interest. Fear, or rather respect based on need, is an iron chain. People hesitate to break with someone they know they can't replace. This is the basis of stable power, not sympathy, but structure. Machiavelli didn't preach gratuitous cruelty. He taught that true power arises from the realization that your presence is essential, not through blackmail, but through engineering. You must position yourself as the hidden pillar of stability, the one whose removal causes tremors. This is the art of becoming the scarce and necessary resource. This is how true respect is earned. So stop trying to be loved at all costs. Love can be a bonus, but it should never be the pillar. Build your value where it cannot be ignored. Be the link that holds the structure together. And when they realize they can no longer go on without you, they will understand that true power is cold, calculated, and silent, just as Machiavelli predicted. The real value is in the pain of your absence. You believe you'll be valued for your contributions, but the world doesn't work that way. What truly defines your worth is the impact your absence causes. While you're always present, available, and serving, no one realizes how much you're needed. But the day you disappear and everything falls apart, that's the exact moment your true importance is revealed. Your value isn't in how much you deliver, but in how much the system suffers without you. Becoming indispensable requires a change in mindset. It means positioning yourself in critical areas where your role is so vital that your departure creates chaos. It's the same principle Machiavelli studied. Being loved is fleeting, but being necessary creates lasting power. And it's not a matter of vanity, but of survival. In a world that replaces you with an algorithm or a cheaper candidate, your only defense is the pain you cause by leaving. This is the difference between a beautiful painting and oxygen. One can be admired on the wall, the other, if lacking, kills. When you become the oxygen of the system, you no longer need to promote yourself. Your presence justifies itself. The fear of losing you becomes the cement of respect. Because in the end, no one wants to risk seeing the structure crumble. And if you are the structure, you are the power. Start observing closely. In what areas of your life do people depend on you? In what contexts would your absence have an immediate impact? The answer to these questions is the map of your true value. Stop sacrificing yourself to be noticed. Work to be felt. The noise of your absence should be more deafening than the volume of your presence. This is how true names are engraved in the collective memory. 7. Discipline, not emotion. The cold path to control. Most people live like leaves in the wind, reacting to every impulse, every criticism, every compliment. Emotion is the language of the masses. It's the trigger that manipulates, deceives, and imprisons. If you truly want to take control of your life and the system around you, you need to operate above emotion. The key to power lies in discipline. Not in feeling more, but in feeling less and acting with precision. Self-discipline is the first act of sovereignty. It's what separates the leader from the led. It's not about repressing feelings, but about not being a slave to them. The world belongs to strategists, not to the passionate. Those who react are predictable. Those who react reveal themselves, and those who reveal themselves become manipulable. A disciplined person, on the other hand, is like a cold and calculating chess player. They don't move pieces on impulse, but intentionally. True power is silent, invisible, and utterly controlled. It needs no spectacle, no applause. It is effective, efficient, and strategic. Being disciplined means having clarity even when the whole world is in emotional collapse. It means not being distracted by noise. It means following the plan when everyone around you is begging for disorder. And this isn't insensitivity, it's inner authority. Start by observing where your emotions dominate you. What habits still control you? What triggers make you act irrationally? Each of these points is a chain, and each broken chain is a step closer to mastering yourself and, consequently, your environment. Machiavelli would say, "He who does not govern himself governs nothing, and he who governs himself governs everything." 8. Strategic scarcity, the art of being few but irreplaceable. Everything that is abundant is undervalued. This is a social law as old as empires. People don't value what is always present, accessible, and available. Value arises from scarcity, from difficulty of access, from strategic absence. Being omnipresent may seem generous, but in practice, it is value suicide. You need to learn to disappear to be noticed. Well-applied scarcity creates anticipation, respect, and even reverence. Think of the great figures of history, The geniuses and memorable leaders, they weren't always available. They appeared when needed, when the impact would be greatest. Their presence was an event, not a routine. And for that, they were remembered. When you limit your accessibility, your presence becomes a weapon. This doesn't mean isolating yourself, but rather positioning yourself intelligently. Every time you show yourself without strategy, your symbolic value diminishes. The secret is to create a controlled void, a space where your absence speaks louder than your constant presence. It's in this intentionally created silence that respect is born. The world begins to realize that you're not just another one, but a rare resource. Train yourself to step back, to not respond immediately, to be where it truly makes sense. Be the diamond, not the air. The diamond is remembered. The air is forgotten. Strategic scarcity is the art of shaping the imagination of others, of transforming your image into something desired, not out of vanity but out of effectiveness. What is valuable is always that which cannot be easily replicated. 9. The theater of morality. Be fair, but never naive. We live in a vast social theater where everyone wears masks, the mask of kindness, loyalty, and justice. But behind the smiles and ethical speeches, what really drives the game is strategy. Public morality is often a propaganda tool, used to manipulate those who believe that being fair is enough. But strategists know, you can be fair, but you can never be naive. Machiavelli didn't advocate gratuitous evil. He advocated preparation. He said the prince should know how to be evil if necessary. And this doesn't mean losing ethics, but understanding that boundless kindness is an invitation to exploitation. The world is not ruled by those with the purest hearts, but by those who know when to protect and when to attack. True justice is that which knows how to defend itself. You need to build an image of integrity, but behind it, maintain the surgical coolness of a strategist. Reputation is important, but it shouldn't be your prison. It's a shield, not a shackle. Be loyal, be fair, but with your eyes open. The blind idealist is the first to be sacrificed. The camouflage strategist is the one who survives the changing winds. Therefore, abandon the idea of purity as an absolute virtue. Wear morality as armor. Use it to move among people, gain trust and influence. But never, ever forget, the game behind the game is played in silence. And in it, the winner is the one who understands that morality isn't about being nice. It's about being clear-headed enough not to be fooled by your own virtue. 10. From invisible to indispensable, the silent ascension. The pinnacle of power lies not in being seen, but in being impossible to remove. True ascension doesn't happen in the public eye, but behind the scenes, in the quiet movements that reorganize structures without fanfare. You don't need to be in the spotlight. You need to be at the center of decision-making. A true strategist doesn't seek fame. They seek influence. Being indispensable is a process of personal engineering. You must identify where the system depends on you and deepen that dependence until your withdrawal leads to collapse. This isn't achieved through empty effort, but through surgical presence, emotional intelligence, and strategic positioning. Ascension happens when you become invisibly vital, when the environment revolves around your structure, even if no one notices. This is the difference between the hero and the architect. The hero appears, shines, is applauded, then forgotten. The architect remains in the shadows, but his decisions shape the future. Being the lead actor in the play is fleeting. Being the author who writes the script is eternal. Your mission is to stop seeking acclaim and start building foundations, because it is in the foundations that true control lies. So step off the stage, build the scenery, shape the dialogue, decide who comes in and who goes out. Become the invisible element that makes everything work. When your absence crashes the system, you won't need to say a single word. The world will have already understood. You're no longer just useful. You're irreplaceable. You've made it this far. That already sets you apart from the crowd. While many abandoned this video at the first uncomfortable truths, you remained. And by standing, you proved something more powerful than courage, lucidity. Today, you understood that the world does not reward those who try harder. They reward who is impossible to replace. You've seen that unguarded kindness is a social adornment, that approval is an addiction, and that true power is excellent, disciplined, and strategic. What you do from now on will determine whether this video was just interesting, or if it was transformer. Comment on invisible power if you understand that lasting respect is born of scarcity, not sympathy. And most importantly, don't go back to the social game. You now play the power game. Subscribe, activate the bell, and join this circle of strategists. Because it's not final, love is a suggestion, but your absence, this will be a prophecy.